Jennifer Negon, thanks for being with us. Negon, starting with you, have you collected your treaty money this year?
I don't think I've collected for probably a decade or so. As you know, it builds up. So you can go and collect it all at once. So I'm probably saving it up so I can get, I don't know, maybe a dinner out of it.
Right. Jennifer, when was the last time you collected yours?
I don't think I've ever collected it, and I know there's a form you can fill out with INAC, but it's $5, and with the price of gas, I think it would cost me that to go get it.
Right, exactly. Negon, what does the payment mean to you, though, personally?
It all depends on when you collect it, really. Big part of it is the ceremonial purpose of it. So usually there's an RCMP officer there. They're dressed. And, one year I asked, why is it that these are brand new $5 bills? And there's an actual policy which says that they're supposed to give out the crisp brand new bills in honor and recognition of the treaty. To really honor and recognize the treaty, they would increase the amount because the land has certainly increased in value, but our payments have not.
Yeah, more on that in a second. Jennifer, I guess, having not collected it ever, but does it have any personal meaning to you?
I think so. To me, it brings back to the signaling of the agreement that was signed, especially in Treaty 4, where my community is, and that agreement that was signed in 1874. And now the Crown kind of breaching their obligations and not adjusting it to inflation. But for me, it was a part of that signing and that agreement that goes back so long ago.
Yeah, you both kind of touched on this, Negon. Do you think First Nations gave up too much for too little in terms of the value of land versus the $5? We had a couple of team members who collected this week 2 years worth and got a smoky from the hot dog guy outside. Do you think this should be increased a bit?
I hope it was a good smoky.
They are.
Here's what I'll tell you is that, it's not as if the government hasn't raised these figures before. We have to remember that Treaty 1 and 2 were actually $3 an annuity per year. And because of the $5 negotiated under Treaty 3, everyone was raised up to $5, and then it stayed there. The reality is that there was an understanding at treaty time amongst our ancestors that both sides would benefit from and continue their livelihood. What that meant is that as the land changed, as our needs changed, as the growth and relationship changed, certainly evidenced during Treaty 6 and 7, where the medicine chest clause is added, there was an interest to make sure that both sides would, at some way, benefit and then revisit the agreement. And certainly what that tells you is that there's not been an interest on Canada's side to revisit the agreement because they're getting a pretty good deal. All Canadians are getting a pretty good deal for simply $5 a year, while they benefit in billions virtually each.
Jennifer, there's the $10 billion Robinson Superior Treaty settlement that's recently been reached. Do you think that will have an impact on future annuities across Canada?
I think it may. I think as long as we continue to open up that conversation and, you see chiefs across the country that are talking about this and bringing the government to court over it, I think it really just depends on how much pressure the government faces back and how the government is feeling at the end of the day, because it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems like we're in this place now where we're finally hitting that wall where a lot of these conversations are starting to be had, and we are seeing class action lawsuits and we're seeing negotiations, especially as it pertains to like agriculture benefits and stuff that relates back to those agreements made so long ago with the intention that those obligations would be fulfilled and hopefully adjusted to our needs today, but are just not happening.
Negon, my apologies. I understand you're fasting. Sorry for bringing up the smokies there.
Not quite fasting. We're in the middle of northern Wisconsin, in the middle of ceremony. I'm literally in ceremony gear right now. We're actually building sand teachings right now. But it is in the middle of the heat, and lunchtime is about an hour and a half late. So yeah, thanks a lot for that.
We'll let you get back to it. Jennifer Negon, thanks so much for being with us.
Miigwech.